To the explainer. Today we're going to dive into a classic Hindi fairy tale, and it asks this really powerful question. What if your biggest flaw was actually your greatest superpower? We're going to follow three friends, each with these super unusual abilities, on a journey that's going to change not just their lives, but an entire kingdom forever. And that really is the heart of this story. It all kicks off in this small village with a young guy who has this massive dream, but he feels like a total outcast. I mean, everyone around him, they think his ambition is just impossible. But you know what? He's absolutely determined to prove every single one of them wrong. All right, let's get right into it. So, meet Dinanath. He's this 20-year-old barber's son, and let me tell you, he is not thrilled about the idea of a life spent cutting hair. Nope. He feels like he has this totally different calling, one that his dad just does not get at all. See, here's the thing. Dinanath has a kind of secret weapon. He can hear sounds from super, super far away. And he is totally convinced this isn't just some weird quirk. He thinks it's the key, the actual key to achieving his wildest dream, marrying the beautiful princess. Now, how is that going to work? Well, that's what we're about to find out. So his dad, he's just had it. He's at his wit's end, and he throws these really harsh words at him. He basically calls him useless, a burden on the family. Ouch. But here's the irony. What his father doesn't realize is that this insult, it's the spark. It's the thing that's going to send his son on the adventure of a lifetime. And that's it. That's the turning point. With his father's words just ringing in his ears, Dinanath makes this solemn vow. He promises himself he will not come back home until he has proven to everyone that his supposedly useless talent is actually his greatest gift. So off he goes. His journey begins. But pretty quickly, as Dinanath is out on the road, he starts to realize something. He's not the only one out there with a so-called problem that might just be a hidden talent. And just like that, he starts putting together this team of misfits, kind of like himself. First up, he meets Kalu, a guy with an appetite so huge his own family literally kicked him out. Then he finds Banu, a man so sensitive he can't sleep if a tiny ant is crawling in the room. I mean, talk about a light sleeper, right? But here's what's cool about Dinanath. Where other people just see problems, he sees potential. He looks at their flaws and sees the exact skills they need to succeed. So he makes them a deal. Endless food for Kalu and a perfectly silent, peaceful bed for Banu. And with that, he convinces them to join him on his quest to the royal palace. And just like that, our trio arrives at the palace. They're ready to stand before the king and make some, let's just say, very bold demands. The big question is the king even going to listen to them? Yeah, Dinanath does not mess around. He walks right up to the king and says, I'm here to marry the princess. Oh, and by the way, can my friends crash here and get something to eat? The king, well, he's definitely intrigued, but there's no way he's just going to grant these wishes without putting them to the test. So the king lays it all out. He makes them a deal. Prove these incredible abilities, he says, and you get everything you want. But if you fail, you'll be beheaded. Whoa. The stakes could not be higher. All right, so the ultimate test begins. First on the chopping block, well, hopefully not literally, is Kalu, the guy who can eat anything and everything. Let's see what the king's got planned for him. So the king prepares this feast that could feed an entire army. And Kalu, he eats it all. I mean, every single last crumb. The royal kitchens are completely bare. Test one, passed, with flying colors. Okay, next up, Banu, our super sensitive sleeper. He gets this amazing bed fit for a king, right? Stacked with 7 of the softest, plushest mattresses you can imagine. But something's wrong. He just can't get comfortable. He keeps complaining that something is poking him. The guards are probably rolling their eyes, thinking he's crazy. But they check the bed anyway. And what do they find? Buried deep down under all 7 of those mattresses, a single human hair. Wow. His incredible sensitivity is absolutely the real deal. Test 2, passed. So that's 2 down, 1 to go. But now it's Dinanath's turn, and his test is by far the trickiest. I mean, think about it. How on earth do you prove you can hear a whisper from a mile away? The king himself is stumped, and you gotta remember, Dinanath's life is on the line here. Just when it seems like the king has no idea how to test him, Dinanath's ability just kicks in. He hears something, and it's something that isn't just going to prove his power, it's going to save the king's life. He really tunes in, focusing his hearing on this quiet, hushed conversation happening way over in the stables. And what he hears, it sends a chill down his spine. The king's own minister and commander, his most trusted advisors, are plotting to assassinate him, and they're planning to do it that very night.
So he rushes to the king, right? He reveals the entire plot. And together, they come up with this really clever plan to flip the script on the traitors. They'll put a dummy in the king's bed, have a few guards hide in the shadows, and just like that, the trap is set.
And the plan works perfectly. It's a total success. The traitors are caught red-handed, the king is safe, and our three heroes, they get the happy ending they absolutely deserve. Dinanath marries the princess and becomes the heir, Kalu gets a lifetime supply of food, and Banu gets the most comfortable bed in the entire kingdom. A truly royal reward for our three magical friends.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? I think it's that the very things that make us feel different are often what make us truly special, you know? That our greatest perceived weaknesses can actually become our greatest strengths. And that really leaves us with a question for you to think about. What's your magical ability? What's that hidden superpower inside you that's just waiting to be unleashed on the world?